Hey everyone, how are you doing? It is the new year, and here in Central Texas, it's a beautiful day outside. But I just got back from a trip from New Mexico, and it was snowing, it was beautiful, it was magical. It was a little difficult getting home. And so I've just come off of my vacation. I took two weeks where I was tech-free and really enjoyed my time with my family, my time out in nature and in the mountains. But I'm back, and it's time for me to talk about resolutions because in the new year, we're going to do it anyway. People are talking about it anyway. And I know that, we can get a little bit tired of the same talk around the same time of year, every year. And maybe we even roll our eyes and we tell ourselves we don't do resolutions, or we tell other people that we don't do resolutions. But the fact of the matter is that we're talking about it and we're thinking about it anyway. So we might as well come at it from a more conscious and intentional place. And let's, unlock the keys to making those resolutions work for you. I think one of the reasons why we get kind of rolly eye about it is because we've all been there. We've all been there where we've made resolutions to go to the gym or to eat better, to lose weight or stop smoking or do better in business or whatever it is. And then, 2 weeks into it, or sometimes we even last 2 months, we get to a point where we bump up against something and it kind of just all falls away. And so the truth of the matter is that setting goals and creating a pathway to achieving those goals is actually, there's a little bit to it. It's not just something that happens. Hi, Amy, welcome. So, we're on this, what Caroline Casey calls our dangerous, beautiful assignment. We're here, we're on this path, we're on this journey. We've incarnated in this physical plane. And the purpose, I believe anyway, we can kind of have a debate about it, or we can talk about it, a discussion about it, but I really feel like the purpose is to grow. We're here to grow. It's great to see you too, Amy. Welcome, Corey. So we're here to grow. And life, the universe, source, God, goddess, whatever you want to name that kind of energy that is sort of directing all of this, is conspiring to help you grow. Everything that comes to you, comes to us, is in service of that growth. That's what I believe, and I found that to be actually quite true in my life. Even the difficult and challenging things, I always grow from them. And so if that's true, and I believe that it is, then why not be a conscious and intentional part of the process? Why not be a co-creator with source, with the universe, with life, with God, with goddess? Why not be in on the game, right? So my question to you is, and there's going to be a guided meditation along with this particular broadcast. I want to give that to you because it can really help you get a clearer vision about what you want your resolutions to be. So my question to you is, what do you want to grow, or how do you want to grow in 2019? And you can kind of mull that over. We're going to go through a guided meditation here in a minute. But first, the Amy, you know me, Corey, you know me, but if you're watching the replay, or if you come on later, a little bit later, and you don't know who I am, or if Amy and Corey share this video with their friends and you don't know who I am, I'm Julie Balderrama, and I help leaders and change makers who want to live their purpose and make a big impact on the world, but struggle with trying to keep it all together and get all of the things done. So oftentimes when we want to make that big impact in the world, we fall into this trap of striving and self-sacrificing and kind of getting into the glorification of busy, and it dampens our impact on the world. And so I really want to help people who have that inclination to be a leader, to be a change maker, to help, to be of service in the world, make the world a better place, tap into the natural laws of energy, so that we can work smarter, not harder, and you can flourish and you can amplify your purpose in the world with ease and with pleasure. So that's who I am. And I'd love to know who you are. So Corey, I know you. Amy, I know you, not as well as Corey. But what's something that I don't know about you? Put a comment in the comment section, something that I don't know about you. And then also let me know, and whether you're watching now live or whether you're watching the replay later, tell me something about yourself. And then I'd also like to know, did you make a resolution this year? Have you made a resolution this year? And it's totally okay if you don't, if you haven't. If you're one of those people who's in the I don't make resolutions camp, let me know if you're in that camp as well. And we're going to keep going and talking about resolutions, but I'd love to know what your experience with resolutions, and specifically this year, what you want to grow or how you want to grow or what resolutions you've made this year. Okay, so we're talking about New Year's resolutions, right? You know, I've said this myself, I don't make resolutions, right? And I can tell you from experience, and I have to do a little eye roll sometimes when I hear that. And I don't mean that to be disparaging, and I don't mean that to be judgmental, but it's just like, oh, I recognize that part of myself. It's the cynic part of myself. Hang on, I'm gonna get a sip of water. I got a little tickle in my throat. Okay, it's the cynic in myself. I think by nature I'm an idealist. I'm choosing to. I think I naturally am that way, but I've moved into a place in my life where I'm choosing to see the best in people, the best in situations. I'm choosing to see and envision and create the world that I want to live in. And so to go from a place where I was naturally that way through this little corridor of cynicism, and then come out the other side and then choose to actively live my life that way. That's sort of been my journey. And so I recognize when people are like, I don't make resolutions, I recognize that cynic voice in that. I don't make resolutions. And it's what I believe about cynics is that they're sort of disillusioned idealists. They're idealists that have been disappointed just one too many times. And I think that happens with New Year's resolutions as well. We get to the place where we're like, screw it, I'm not even going to make resolutions because I've tried and failed too many times anyway, right? So that's kind of the cynic in us that says it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it to have that conversation. It's not even worth it to make a resolution or to set a goal or to have an intention because I'm just going to be disappointed. I recognize that voice in myself. I know her well. We have a close working relationship with one another. Hi, Tina. It's so good to see you on here. Hi, Michael. Thank you for joining. Amy, you climbed a mountain before the age of 18. That is something I didn't know about you. That's fantastic. Tell us which mountain it was. So if you're joining the live broadcast, we're talking about New Year's resolutions, and I'd love to know if you've set a New Year's resolution or if you've said, I don't set New Year's resolutions. I'm out. I'm tapping out on this one. And if you have set one, I'd love to know what it is. We're going to have a guided meditation here in a little bit because I feel like even if we are in that sort of more cynical place of I don't set resolutions, the fact of the matter is that we're at a time of year where we're just sort of naturally talking about them and thinking about them. And so, if that's the case and you're thinking about it, and even if you think to yourself, I don't set resolutions, I bet you're thinking about it. So if that's the case, then why not be a conscious and intentional part of the process and really ask yourself, if I'm here to grow, and I think that we are, and if the universe is conspiring to send me things to help me grow along my path, then why not be a co-creator with the universe, with life, with source? Why not say, this is how I intend to grow. This is how I want to grow. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of reverse engineering here with our guided meditation. We're going to see into the future, and then we're going to backtrack and see, like, what's the best resolution to set in order for me to create that vision that I see in the future. Okay, so Goal setting, resolutions, we've talked about them. So the thing about resolutions and the thing about goal setting, because obviously we can set a resolution any time of year, right? It doesn't have to be in the new year. It could be any time of year. It's just a goal, right? The thing about goal setting is that it actually, there's a lot of moving parts to goal setting. There's a lot of things that in order to be successful at reaching your goals, you want to have in place with goal setting. So I think one of the reasons why New Year's resolutions have a tendency to fail, well, I think there's several different reasons. And I think anybody that tells you this is the reason that it fails is not giving you the whole picture. I have a lot of experience with setting goals and failing. So this is based on that experience. There are a lot of parts to setting a good goal and then creating a plan to reach it. And I'm going to talk to you about 3 main points today. There's obviously some more things. It's not that simple, and yet it is. When you have the keys and when you have support. So the 3 main points are to plant seeds. So this is number 1, right? Plant the seeds for your goals and then tend the soil. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's think about this time of year. It's the winter, right? This is the time of year where if we were going to plant seeds for our garden, that's what we would do. We would plant the seeds. And, you know, our seeds we wouldn't plant the seeds and then the next day come back and there's our carrot, right? The seeds are going to germinate and they're going to mull things over in this soil that hopefully is very fertile and rich. And so I see that as this process of creating this particular vision. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, I'm so sick of the way that I feel in my clothes, I'm going to the gym starting January 1st, or I'm going to start eating paleo on January 1st. If we do that, that's like sort of just tossing the seed out into the harsh weather and hoping for the best. Now, it may take root and it may grow, and the likelihood of it doing that without being planted in this soil, in the fertile soil, and being tended first is a little slimmer. So if my vision, or if the way that I want to feel is I want to feel comfortable in my clothes, I want to feel confident and sexy, I want to, however it is that you want to feel, or maybe it's a business, it's around business, right? I want to feel successful and prosperous in the new year. If we don't know how we want to feel and then we don't create a plan for getting there, it's like tossing those seeds out there and hoping for the best. So plant the seeds and tend the soil. Create a goal that is smart, that is specific, measurable, attainable, relatable, time-bound, right? We've all heard that goal setting advice before. Know what your challenges are. It's sort of that germinating phase for the seed. Your goal is in this germinating phase, and this is the best time of year to do that. And so before you head off to the gym, spend a little bit of time, or before you just start throwing things at the wall and seeing what works, spend a little bit of time germinating and dreaming and cultivating and tending this soil. And the guided meditation that we do today is going to help you do just that. So that's one. That's the first point. Plant the seeds and tend the soil. Have a vision of where you want to go, and then know how you're going to get there, and know what it is that's going to help you create the situations or the environment that's going to make you more likely to be successful at reaching your goal. Okay, number 2, create an identity shift. What do I mean by that? Well, when we go through our lives, we're basically just reenacting habits over and over and over again. And those habits are based on beliefs that we have about ourselves or about the world. And so if we want to change a habit, we can go through the actions of changing the habit, and sometimes that changes our identity. But more often than not, we've got to go at it from both places. We've got to actively move into a place where we're working with the subconscious to change an identity shift, to change a shift in beliefs. And then we've got to act on those as well. And so, for instance, if you want to declutter your house, And by the way, Marie Kondo, who wrote The Art of Tidying Up, has a new series on Netflix, which I'm totally addicted to now. But if you want to tidy up your home and you want to declutter your home, but you basically identify yourself as a messy person and you believe deep down that you are a messy person and that it's just never going to get any better, that belief is going to actually be stronger than any new habit that you set. So coming at it from the back end, from the mindset place, and creating an identity shift, as well as putting things into action, doing things, embodying that identity shift, is going to be key to you being able to sustain this new habit or this resolution or reach this goal. Okay, Mike's here. Hey, Mike, you're in the house. Welcome. It's so good to see you. Okay, so we're talking about New Year's resolutions. I want to know, did you set a New Year's resolution today? Have you had trouble in the past setting New Year's resolutions? Are you just over it and you're like, screw it, I'm not doing it this year? Let me know what your experience is. Okay, so our 2 main points so far: plant the seeds and tend the soil, create an identity shift. And then the third point, and remember, there's a lot more to this. I'm just kind of boiling it down. The third point is to get support. So many times I've worked with clients, and when we first start setting goals, or we first started with, what is it that, what's the life that they wanted to create, they started to go about it sort of in the shadows. So, for instance, going to the gym, I had a client who didn't want to disrupt any part of the schedule with her family or her work in order to go to the gym. And so she would get up at 4:30 in the morning to go to the gym, even though she was exhausted. So, if we don't feel like we've got support for our goals, and we feel like we have to achieve our goals in the shadows, or we feel like we have to achieve our goals without impacting anybody else's life, or, whatever it is, if we don't feel supported with our goals, we're most likely not going to succeed. Now, not always. That's not always. Sometimes we're just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and we'll do whatever it takes, right? But the sustainability and the feeling of freedom and the feeling of pleasure and all of these feelings that we want to feel, that's usually why we set the goal in the first place, is, that's going to be missing if we're doing it and still sacrificing another aspect of ourselves to make that goal happen. So get support, get a coach, get a group, get a friend who's on board with you, whatever it takes. Get support for meeting your goal. Get an accountability partner. Find a friend who's got the same goal. Hire a coach. Hire a personal trainer. Get support in some way. Make sure, if you can, that your partner is on board and is supporting you. That can make a world of difference. So get support in any way that you can. And if you need some help finding some support, reach out to me, leave a comment. I'm going to leave my link for my calendar in the comment section. So if you want to talk to me about getting support for your goals, anything from setting to your goals, to meeting your goals, to, figuring out the bumps and the obstacles that tend to come up when you want to reach your goals, you can get on the phone with me and we'll talk about how to get you some support. Okay, we're ready for our guided meditation. So this guided meditation is intended to help you with the first point, which is to plant the seed and tend the soil. And I love this meditation because, I'm just going to go through the meditation and I'll tell you why I love it. Okay, so if you're going to do the meditation with me, and I highly recommend that you do, and maybe you're not at a point right now where you can do it, but bookmark this or save it, however Facebook works that, so that you can do it later if you're not in a position to be able to do it right now. And if you're watching this on a replay and you're not able to do the meditation, again, bookmark it, save it, and do it later when you can, when you've got some time to yourself and you can be alone and you can be in a quiet space and you can listen to it. I do a lot of listening to things when I'm driving because I drive a lot. And so you could do that when you're driving. You could listen to this probably and still, please don't close your eyes while you're driving, but you could probably still get the benefits of it. But I think if you can just take, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, find a quiet space, find a place where you can be comfortable and not be disturbed, I highly recommend that. Okay, so hopefully while I've been chatting, if you're going to go through the meditation right now, you've found a space where you can be alone and you can be undisturbed and you can find some quiet. You may want to listen to this through your earbuds so that you don't have anything else distracting you. So get into a comfortable place. You can lay down, you can sit up, you can stand up, you can just be comfortable but relaxed. If you fall asleep, don't worry about it. You can again save this and do it again another time. I get questions all the time from people, what if I fall asleep during meditation? And I usually think that that's probably because you need to rest. So I wouldn't worry about it. Now, if you keep falling asleep, then that's maybe perhaps something different. But don't worry if you fall asleep. You can do this again another time. Hopefully you're in a place, it's noon, where you're not too tired and you can close your eyes, if you're in a safe place to close your eyes, and begin to turn your attention inward. One of the reasons I like to close my eyes is because I can eliminate some of the external stimulation that way. I don't get distracted. And I can really turn my awareness, turn my attention, turn my focus inward. Okay. So turning your attention inward, just start by noticing, we're going to kind of do a body scan first just to get relaxed. Start noticing how you feel in your body, any sensations in your body. They're not right or wrong. You don't need to do anything about it. We're just noticing, we're witnessing how our body feels in this moment. And so, of course, if you're witnessing how your body feels and you're noticing any tension or pain, and just shifting or altering the body a little bit might relieve that, go ahead and do that. That's fine. And now turn your awareness towards your breath. Ideally, we want to slow the breath down, slow down the exhale, and deepen and lengthen the inhale. And this is going to move us deeper into relaxation. This relaxed state is where the body can heal. It's where we can gain access to our true self or our higher self. So use your breath to move deeper and deeper into relaxation. You've probably still noticed that some thoughts are popping up, and that's totally fine. It's natural, it happens. And so you can use whatever process feels good to you for those thoughts. Sometimes I imagine that my thoughts are clouds passing through the sky and just drifting off out of my awareness. If I have a pretty persistent thought that won't drift off, sometimes I ask that thought to go wait in the waiting room until I'm done. So whatever works for you. You could imagine stepping back from your thoughts, creating a little bit of space between you and your thoughts. And then bring your attention back to your breath, back to your body. Okay, so begin to see yourself sometime in the future. It could be 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now, just some time in the future, at some point in the future. And see your ideal self, see your ideal life. in this space of a little more stillness and awareness, look around you in your ideal life. In your mind's eye, see your surroundings. What are you surrounded by in your ideal life? What does your home look like? Where do you live? In this ideal life, at some point in the future, who are you with? What are your relationships? What are your meaningful relationships? Who are they with, and what do they look and feel like? In your ideal life, at some point in the future, how are you spending your time in a way that makes you feel on purpose and fulfilled? What are you doing? And what are you not doing? In this ideal life, at some point in the future, what are you doing that makes you feel on purpose and fulfilled? And what are you no longer doing? What have you left behind? What's absent in your ideal life sometime in the future? Now, in your ideal life sometime in the future, who are you? What's your identity? Are you successful? Are you fit and healthy? Do you love your tidy home? Are you a world-renowned speaker? Are you a sacred partner in a loving relationship? What's your identity? Now we're going to start to come back. We're going to start to reverse engineer. So see yourself stepping back from that some point in the future, stepping back through time, one step at a time until you get to the end of 2019, the end of this year. And with that ideal life in mind, at some point in the future, ask yourself, in what one way could you grow in 2019 that would make getting to your ideal life and new identity easier? What's one way that you could grow in 2019? that would make getting to your ideal life and ideal identity easier? Just one thing. What's the one thing that would make that easiest? Okay, let's start moving our way back to becoming more oriented with your surroundings, moving out of this meditation. Don't worry if you didn't come up with your one thing. You have this guided meditation that you can watch again, and you can journal after this and see if it comes up that way. There's a number of different ways that you can get to this one thing. You can definitely hop on a call with me and I can help you figure out what that one thing is. And if you did come up with your one thing, I would love to know what it is. Will you leave a comment and let us know through that guided meditation what your one area that you would need to focus on this year in order to create your ideal life and your ideal identity? What's the one thing that's going to make it easiest for you to get there this year? Please share. That would be fantastic. Okay. Thank you so much for watching this. I know that these Facebook Lives sometimes, we prefer sometimes for them to be shorter, but this is really important, and this stuff for me is deep work, and I love deep work, and so I'm just going to go deep on these lives. And if you don't have time to catch them when they come to you live, you can always save them and watch them later. The depth, the willingness to go deep, I think, as well as expand and learn as much as you can, I think is a wonderful balance. And that's going to be, in my experience, in my opinion, the thing that's going to propel you forward. Oftentimes we hear in Tai Chi and Qigong especially, which I teach and practice, go slow to go fast. And it really is true. When we slow down and we go deep, things open up to us that if we were just sort of spinning in our regular habits and just kind of, throwing things at the wall and seeing what happened, we don't get that same forward momentum. And in fact, we actually burn out. And I'm super passionate about helping you figure out how you can shine without the burnout. And that requires that we go a little bit deeper. Marks, how are you? Thanks for joining. Marks, you just missed a guided meditation, but I'm going to go back and see what the time mark is. And there's a guided meditation for you to figure out what's the one area that you could grow in 2019 that would make the biggest impact on your life in general, on creating your ideal life. Okay, so we've created the vision. You've got your one thing. If you don't, you can journal about it. You can do this guided meditation again. But you've got hopefully your one thing. So yay you did that, right? Now what? Okay, so now, as I said, there's a lot of pieces that go into setting a really effective goal and making a plan to get there that's most likely to succeed. And I love doing this. I geek out about doing this. I love it, you guys. So if this is something that you'd like to get some clarity on, you'd like to get some help with, you'd like to get some support with, I would be so excited to help you out. I'd be honored. I'd be excited to help you out with this because I love doing it so much. So I'll leave a link in the comments section to my calendar and you can get on a call with me. And this is a complimentary call. We're just going to see if what I can offer you, the support that I can offer you, feels like a good fit for you and me. And then if it feels like a great fit, then we'll talk about working together. So easy peasy. Thank you so much again for watching. If you found this helpful, and I really hope that you did, well, first of all, I'd love to know if you found this helpful. So leave a comment in the comment section and let me know that you found it helpful, because That helps me know what you want to know more about. And then if you feel like somebody else would really benefit from this, I would love it if you'd share this video with them. And the easiest way, you can totally share on your Facebook page, absolutely. But if you know somebody specific that would really, really benefit from this guided meditation or from any part of this Facebook Live, tag them in the comments section. That's the easiest way. Or if you're going to post it on your wall, which would be fantastic, tag them in that post. And that just makes sure that, you know, the Facebook gods send them the right way to see the post. Okay, cool. It's been a pleasure leading this guided meditation for you, with you, being in space with you. And I am so appreciative to everybody who popped on today and who's going to watch the replay and who's going to like and share and love this. So appreciative. Thank you, everybody, for your support and for your encouragement and enthusiasm for the work that I do in the world that helps me get up every morning with joy and ease and purpose. Thanks, everybody. Happy New Year.